to the Music Examination. The hosts of the show are Zag, Ness, and Curtis, who will be discussing, debating, and dissecting classic rock and roll. Let the show begin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. We are now being called the Music Examination. If you want, you can still find us under a couple beers and a conversation, and it'll lead you to our the new name of the Music Examination. We made a few changes, and but this is our first episode under the new name. And guys, how's it going? How is everything?
New year.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's a new beer. It's a new beer and a new year.
And so, what you guys been up to? Anything new? Watching, listening, reading?
I saw on YouTube, totally by accident, was the new group by the former members of Thunder Mother, the Gems.
Oh, yeah, they got it.
They were on, what were they on? I want to say Mayhem Records has got this thing where they've got all these little European first-time bands out there and stuff, and the Gems was part of this little package, and they got like 7 or 8 videos out there, some live stuff, and it's the lead singer, the bass player that we saw, the brunette, but she's not playing lead guitar.
I think the only one
and
that
they
stayed,
got the drummer.
The only one that stayed is the guitar player in the old Thunder Mother.
Yeah, so not bad. I mean, it's the guitar playing is kind of the same, a little bit faster. I like her voice. But yeah, no, it wasn't bad. I was surprised they formed that quickly, and they had videos, good videos out. So yeah, I stumbled across that, and that was about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen their videos too on YouTube on Thunder Mother, and you could tell that they were able to just slowly go into the new group.
So now we actually looked for Thunder Mother videos. What do you think of them?
It was nice. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy. It's not reinventing the wheel and stuff, but it's pretty good, solid rock and roll. And their videos are really good because a lot of them are live.
Yes,
live videos, and it shows that they're really good live.
So they're out touring, or they probably don't even have an album out, right?
They do.
Got an album
I don't know if it's out yet. It says it said on the promo soon to be released. So they've obviously got one. They've got, like I said, 3 or 4 videos already in the can you can watch. And they've got a live performance cut for one of them there, too. So they're on their way. So I found that a little bit fascinating.
Yep.
So what have you been doing?
Actually, I actually watched probably recently. I've watched probably like 4 different documentaries. One was obviously the Y&T one, On With the Show, which was really interesting. It's something that I would say, give it a view. You'll be kind of surprised on, because they interviewed Leonard. They interviewed Joe was part of it, Joe Alvarez and Leonard Hayes. The bass player already passed away by the time, but actually Leonard and Joey have recently passed away too. But oh man, because Leonard got kicked out of the band because of his drinking.
There's only one. Dave Manichetti is the only original left.
Yeah, he's the only original. But yeah, Leonard, I guess they were saying in the documentary that they offered, because they knew he had a major drinking problem, and they offered, say, hey, we'll send you to the rehab. We'll wait for you, to get your act together, because they wanted to do another album and tour. And he said, no, I don't want to go to rehab. So I said, all right, you're out of the band. But they interviewed him, and he even admitted it. He goes, I had a problem, and I ignored it, but you should see the way he looked. He had like no teeth. All his teeth were gone. He had like 5 teeth in it. That was it. And it was weird because
due to drinking,
just in bad health. I mean, he did not look good.
You're just drinking. You're going to fall
later
apart.
on, because they said Dave was saying that it was over like a 2 or 3 year span that they were doing this. Then you could tell in some of the later interviews that he had some dentures in. But they must have been cheap-looking dentures, because they still didn't look good. I mean, it looked good.
Billy Bob dentures?
Yeah, yes.
Like ZZ Top said, cheap sunglasses, cheap dentures.
That was weird. I just looking, and they were interviewing Joey, and he left, where he got kicked out because he said he had a problem with cocaine, and he even looked beat up too. I mean, both of them guys were like, man. They just did not look healthy, and obviously they both passed away. But it was kind of interesting. Another one I seen one on Joan Jett, which is kind of interesting. She they went through everything through the Runaways and through her years with, trying to get a label. She finally gets a label. They kick her off the label. They don't want her. She finds another one. That one goes out of business. So she's been hustling her ass off the whole time. And she's still around. And then I watched one on John Waite, which was really good.
I saw that one.
The Hard Way.
That was really good.
Yes, that one was.
Did
really
he explain why he's not going to get together with the babies ever again?
Not really.
No, he didn't. It just all she really
That's
said.
the questions I want
They
to
never
answer.
made any money.
No,
They did touch on the babies, and he didn't act like he had any real hard feelings.
No.
It's just that they just didn't make money.
Right, it's because they had bad management,
Yep.
a bad, and
But everybody has bad management at some
but I
point
mean,
in their careers.
but it was weird. It's just
Couldn't continue. They
right.
couldn't.
They were. I mean, it's weird because they had hit albums.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were
they
on
did.
tour, but they weren't making any money.
Yeah.
He's like, you could tell he was just like dumbfounded the whole thing. He's like, I don't know, man. And it was weird because he had a really good solo career, And the other thing, where the one he was doing some of the later albums, he's out on tour and he finds out that the label that was on folded.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, so he had to go buy the couple of his later albums.
He's really had a rough
he just
career with as far as the back of the scene stuff. He just can't
he
seem to get a break when it comes to record companies and
he
management.
wrote on his solo career, he wrote a couple major hits.
But he seemed like happy where his career was at. He's out. He's able to go out,
Right.
play clubs.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm sure he's probably making some money.
Yeah.
Goes out when he wants to, and it was kind of like it was film, so he could be acting. But no, I've heard him on the radio too. He sounds like he's in a good place.
Yeah.
He still does baby tunes. He does everything.
Yeah. It's just weird. It's like you say, it's like this guy is that hard luck guy that no matter what he does, he ends up on the short end of it.
Because I forgot he started off playing bass.
Yeah, in
with
the
the
band.
babies.
Yeah, before,
And then he moved out front, and things were going good. They had records out.
Yeah.
They were getting radio airplay. They'd go out on tour and they'd be broke.
Yeah, I know, that's weird.
Just didn't make any money. I don't know how he didn't get into debt. How that really happened, but
yeah. And then there was another one I watched was Rush. Time Stand Still. It's about the lead up to the final tour and everything.
yeah, I bought that.
That's
good.
That was really good. It was kind of interesting because they also touch on the touring when they were opening for Kiss.
Yeah,
because they were big drinkers. Like even
and you kind of get a idea of Neil Peart's personality.
Yeah,
he doesn't like being on the camera. He's not in that a lot.
Nope.
He's in it, but he's not. Yeah, he doesn't talk a lot.
He's in there.
He was
because,
a recluse, man.
The one of the scenes that I really liked in that one was because he was on tour. He would go from show to show a lot of times on his motorcycle.
He'd run off the stage and jump on his motorcycle.
Yeah, and it was weird because before they would head out on stage, he's got the old Rand McNally maps laying on the floor, and he's mapping out.
Oh, that's
we're going to go
pre-Google.
this
You're
road.
right.
Yeah. It was him and his security guy were the two guys. They would hop on their motorcycles, and we're going to between the shows, we're going to take this route, and we're going to go through this countryside and all that stuff. That was kind of neat, just seeing that. But I mean, he really beat up his body. I mean, Yeah, you could obviously Alex with his arthritis, but he really with his shoulders, and he was out on the one portion of the tour, and it was like he drove all day in the rain, and he ended up getting.
You said you got the guy Lee Book. He talks about that.
I mean,
that he had foot infections due to that.
Yeah, and he's going out and playing every night.
Yeah.
What I've seen Geddy Lee on his book tour, it sounds like they're going to get something together.
You keep hearing more and more. Yep.
They're going to go out.
Well, I don't know. Alex's arthritis seems to be the biggest problem.
He's come out now and said
Okay, maybe he's taking some miracle
I
drugs.
think they're going to go out and
Do major
shows.
right. They'll
do 20 shows or something
and take a break. They were a lot of their shows. It seemed like on that last tour was like 3 or 4 days apart. They weren't like back to back ones. They would probably do like 2 shows a week or something like that. They weren't so. And I think if they do that, Alex can go out and do the whole.
Plus the money.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
Again, you haven't read the book yet, so I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it talks about that too, why they did that, why they spread that out like that. But I'm not going to ruin that for you.
The interesting part, they were interviewing some fans, and this is my 105th show, and I'm like,
all right. Now here's a question for all you guys: are you any band that would you want to travel around and say that?
No.
Outside of John Butcher Access, I know, but I mean, I would not be the
drove
biggest
to
Kiss
Cleveland
fan.
to see him.
Being the biggest Kiss fan, I don't think I'd sit there and travel around because we all know the set list,
especially nowadays, is not.
Yeah,
the set list, they don't change
vary
anything
from night to night. You're sitting there listening to the same verses. Now I know when the Stones came to Comerica Park, I think on a bigger bang, what they were doing, because we all got that Set List FM app. I was checking it out. They would every third day they would switch up
a couple songs,
and they would put like
some bands
3 or 4 other songs in there. It's like you wanted to catch the night where they were doing, say, Monkey Man. You go, oh man, I hope they're doing Monkey Man Detroit. Nope, they're doing that one in Cleveland. But it was kind of weird because you could kind of see the kind of you can see the how they were doing it and stuff. Every third day they would do that to keep it fresh. That I could see doing, but 126 shows is the same show. I
was listening to some real hardcore Iron Maiden fans calling in on Eddie Trunk's show.
Okay.
They don't change a song for the entire tour. They play the same set every night. There's no deviation from it.
Which again,
whether they're getting good response or bad, they stick to it.
You can't hate on that because that keeps them focused on what they're supposed to do.
I get that, but I like the spontaneity.
Well, I think a lot of it to do with probably with the light show.
Oh,
and
hell
the
yeah, a lot of
in
that
and
stuff's
out.
synced.
Some of them bands, they probably have everything synced.
If your lighting and stuff is set and your pyros are set and stuff to a certain thing there, all of a sudden you're going to stick in, Run of the Hills, which you haven't been playing. It's like, okay, now this needs a whole new lighting setup and a whole new whatever and stuff. No, that's a good point because you're right. A lot of that stuff's already written in stone by the lighting and it's all computerized and stuff. So they just can't, okay, we're gonna try this one tonight. The lighting guys are losing his mind going, what the hell am I doing now?
Right.
We didn't rehearse this.
you kind of miss the old days when you're sitting there and the roadies climbing up the ladder.
Oh my God, wasn't that hilarious? You would see the guys.
I'm actually missing those kind of shows.
I did.
Like I said, I went to see Disturbed. There wasn't any amplifiers. The stage was just a drummer. It was totally cleared. They had some things in the back hanging, but there was no equipment. It was wild looking.
I actually was able to pick up on the cue, and I showed you guys, or told you guys too, is when they would climb up there, they would sit in that little, like a chair something like this, and the headphones on, and you could tell they would flash a flashlight to the guy in the center console there on the floor, and that's when the lights went down. That let them know that he was ready. He goes, they would flash like a flashlight right to the guy at the center mixing board and stuff. And I said, okay, here we go, guys.
Yeah.
And you're right. They sit there, and that looked scary as hell because all it was like a little bucket seat.
Yeah.
And they're just strapped in there, and it's like, holy shit, I hope this guy doesn't fall from the ceiling.
What do you got to take a leak?
Yeah,
great point. I'm sure those guys are drinking and stuff.
He's probably not drinking so much time before.
Think about that.
So he's probably once he gets down, he's like, all right, where's the beer?
I never thought of that because you're right, because you got nowhere to go.
You can't
now
leave.
You can climb down the light rigs behind the band and go, what the hell are you doing?
What if you drank too much the night before and you got sick and threw up?
Feeling too good? Yeah, feeling too good. No. I got to climb this ladder 2 stories up.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of that. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess you were the last one there to.
Yeah, I just the one I watched the documentary on that Lee Kerslake on Tubi was streaming. That was good, and then I haven't watched it yet, but I think I'm gonna pay for the deal one. It's that's on Amazon too.
Yeah, I can. I was looking at that too. Yeah, I can. That's one of them. That's
it's supposed to be really good. So
that's right.
I think I'm gonna. One of these weekends sit and watch that because I think it's a couple hours long. It's not something you can watch.
Now, when you buy that, can you burn it?
No,
it's just 3 inches.
You know what?
Well, depends on how.
You probably could. I don't know. I haven't tried it because I don't know if they have a block on it or anything.
Well, it depends on where you're going to view it, how you're going to view it.
Can you? Speaking of that, can you use your DVR to record something off Amazon?
Probably not.
You can't hit record.
Well, the only thing is depends on where if you're able to through your cable box, if you're able to access the app of Amazon through that. If not,
I don't know. I'd have to look. I never tried that.
no.
I never tried to record anything because there's a record button on your controller.
Mm-hmm.
I DVR'd stuff, which is you set the time and it records it, but I've never tried to record something while I was watching it.
Couldn't you do that while you're watching a thing? Set the
Right,
timer?
right now, I don't even have my DVD players hooked up, but I could hook them up.
Yeah.
But I
Just
never
wondering.
thought about
I just
that.
thought that was kind of because
I know there were some. I'm trying to remember back. Sometimes there's like a signal and it'll block it.
right.
Where if it senses that you're recording something, then it adds a pulse into the picture.
And now
Wasn't there a thing too on CDs like that too? They just put a chip in there that would block you
never had a
from
problem doing
actually copying certain songs on a CD.
I never had a
Because I
problem
had
with
one.
There might have been something like that.
It was like I think like a certain bands would have maybe one or two of the hits that you could copy everything else off that CD except for those one or two. They wouldn't.
Really?
They would
Okay.
acknowledge it.
I know. I tried to one time. I tried to record
But
the
this was years ago,
Stones
though.
Some Girls Live CD they came out with a couple years back,
yeah.
and it kept kicking the disc out saying it didn't have enough room.
Okay.
And it was an 80-minute. So I took it and ripped it into my Windows
Yep.
library
Yeah.
as a WAV file.
Yep.
And then it let me burn it.
I've had that too, where I
But-
went to.
There must have been something on that disc,
Yes.
the Stones disc that
Yes. It's something
signaled
on the.
that was
Yes.
It's
longer than 80
Yeah,
minutes.
Yeah.
or something.
It's no. I think what it is like it's like a copyright. If you're trying to do
Yeah, but if it's a
something,
copyright, it usually wouldn't let you rip it either, I don't think.
Yeah, it would totally shut you down.
Yeah,
I would think.
because
Yeah.
what was weird is on my iPod, some of the bands that if I were to take their actual CD, put it into my computer and want to download it into my library, it wouldn't happen. But if I took that CD, took it to my computer, burned it on a disc, and then downloaded it in there, it would allow that.
Yeah.
But so it's
I
almost
don't know.
like not really a copyright, but it's
weird.
it's like a copyright thing. So
Okay.
it's something probably like that Stones CD was probably the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What
So
are
we're
we
all
talking?
caught up now, guys?
We are caught
I
up.
think so.
Right.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Santa
we're
was
okay.
good to you guys?
Yes, he was.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Yes, I got the new Geddy Lee book that I'm.
There you go. All right. Now, if you could learn to read, you'd be.
I know.
You'd
Yeah.
be right.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
Did you get the audio one?
Yeah, I got
There
the
you
You
audio.
didn't get the
That's
book
a
you
good-
read.
Yeah,
You
so I
got the
can-
audio edition.
Yes, that helps out. And then, but see, then what I'm going to do now is I'm actually I got the book too, so I'm going to run the audio thing and I'm going to be following.
You're going to follow along
So I
with
can.
your finger.
Oh, so that's how you say that word. Oh, that word too. Oh, okay.
Still waiting on what's his name? Dan Fogelberg documentary.
Oh,
Documentary.
When's that coming out?
Actually, I seen the.
Come on.
I seen
No.
the thing. I seen
No,
the thing,
you didn't.
I seen the thing pop up on my Facebook page. That's something about trying to get Dan
if it
Fogelberg
rings?
into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'll send
Yeah.
you.
He'll probably get in.
I'll send,
The way they elect people in there.
I'll send you the guys. I'll send you guys the picture of it.
Speaking of that,
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, there is. There's something
The
about.
only way he get in the Hall of Fame is he bought a ticket. He can't because he's dead.
God Almighty.
Dan Fogelberg.
Speaking of that,
What base? Then again, it's the
some of
Rock and
our-
Roll Hall of
some of
Fame.
our topic-
It could be anybody.
Some of our
Yes.
topic
Yep.
bands who are all good bands on our topics today. There's a lot of them that aren't even in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on this.
I know.
Jesus.
All right, Kurt, you want to jumpstart us here? Let us know what we're doing.
Okay, yeah.
How we're doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of like what it is. What the show today is going to be kind of more or less like not really a battle of the bands, but we're going to be looking at a couple bands with each other, and we're going to deciding, which one we like better. I mean, you want me to give the list now, or we'll just go through?
We'll just go. We can just kind of go through them one
As we
by
go through.
one.
All right.
'Cause in case we don't get to all of them stuff, we don't want our fans out there to be disappointed. Well, you guys
So
didn't
the-
talk about that one.
Yeah.
All right, so
the
we'll
first-
just hit
the
them
first
one
two
by
that we're
one.
going to be going against is Journey and Foreigner.
Okay.
So both bands started out in the 70s, and went through into the 80s that were, making some, still making some music. So who wants to start out on this thing with who they love, who they like the best and the reason why?
I'm gonna go with Foreigner.
Okay.
Just because I think a lot of their albums are a lot more solid front to back.
Wow, you got like
agree.
There was a lot of-
you got like a novel there with
Well,
all your
I
stuff.
had all the albums here, and then I put down all the songs I
I
liked from
like-
said albums.
That's what I did.
And I'm going, okay.
Were you over my house
I
looking
was.
at my notes
Yeah,
again?
you know what? I was waiting for your wife to get undressed, but all I saw was you doing that
Jesus.
list. I forgot I might as well watch him do this instead. So yeah, I was doing that. I'm going, okay, there was a span there where Foreigner 4, Inside Information, and they had a combination of where they had these really cool ballads without sounding too sappy, but were really good ballads.
Yeah.
And the instrumentation was really good, but it wasn't kind of over the top. It was kind of, it was nuanced. And some of the earlier Mick Jones guitar solos on the first couple of them, if you really listen to them, some of that stuff's pretty tricky.
Yeah.
Some of those things where the intros and outros, Journey was pretty much, you got what you heard. It was a straight rock and roll band. Steve Perry's voice could get a little bit, repetitive. My favorite album from them has to be Evolution, which is weird because it's got, not the super big hits. They have Too Late, Love and Touch and Squeezing, City of the Angels, When You're Alone, It Ain't Easy. Just the same way, which has the greatest piano intro. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
I love that intro. And then it goes into the song. That's probably one of the better Journey albums, because the other ones were pretty sick of at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that was also the Greg Rowley was playing keyboard, so I like his
take on Journey.
Yes, I liked when he was in the band. I liked where they were going with how they were writing songs and what he was doing. I like that more than Jonathan Cain's, even though Jonathan Cain is a lot more popular as far as album sales. And that,
Who are you picking?
I think
Who do you pick?
I think he
Who am I
slicked.
picking?
I think they slicked him down though. Jonathan Cain slicked Journey down from being kind of
You
like
got him
that
a little more
bluesy-
wimpy.
Yes.
Well,
Which
there
is
you go. I didn't-
disappointing because the babies.
Good call.
I like
I
this.
didn't want
Yes.
to say wimpy, but yeah, he did kind of soften
but
that.
that's when they went into the the real ballad
Yeah.
Yes,
stuff.
they were more
It
ballads.
was kind of the era
Open
too. It was kind
Arms,
of the
that type
era,
of stuff,
but
yeah.
still, they got a lot softer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
saying it's bad, and the women liked it, but I think that was a big change.
Mine probably. So I would have to say Foreigner also. I'd have to say probably Foreigner. If I were to say, if I were to say, like, I really like the Greg Rowley couple of the three. Well, they had 3 albums prior to even Stephen Perry being in the band,
Right.
which are.
Well, I didn't have those. I had the
Right,
first,
that's what I'm saying.
the
Those
first one
were-
and the second one are the last two that I know. That there was one before them that he was
Infinity,
on. Oh no, wait, wasn't he on Departure? The one 1980.
Yes,
That
he
was his
on-
last one with him.
Yes,
All right, I got
he did Infinity, Evolution, and Departure.
Yeah.
Those are the 3
Okay.
albums that he was on.
Right.
Plus the 3 prior, but those weren't even hits or something. Those
Right.
were.
Jonathan Cain came in for
I think he did the Departure
Escape,
tour.
right?
He did. Yeah, no, he came.
but
He
didn't
came in.
play it.
He came in on Escape.
He didn't play on Departure. He might have toured.
But he toured because Greg decided he didn't want to tour because I think Jonathan Cain actually joined the band in 1980, which was right after the Departure album was released.
Yeah. I looked up some date on it too.
But,
Escape was their biggest album. It was the #1 album. There was only one #1 album.
Okay.
Departure went up to 8. Frontiers was a 2. So they're 2, bigger albums. Frontiers and Escape, which is the Jonathan Cain era, are their biggest albums. But again, I mean, we're talking about what we prefer.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I think the general public liked the
Jonathan.
ballads and the dance
Oh,
songs.
yeah, that was
Girls
the
love
bigger-
them songs. I'm not saying they're bad songs. I don't dislike Journey at all. But I'm with you guys. I'm Foreigner
Yeah,
too.
it's again. This is not who's better because obviously they're both wildly successful. They're both great in their own rights. It's just that if you had a choice between the two, if you were given a choice to, hey, you want to listen to this or this, this is what it is. It's not good or bad. It's just our opinion. And again, we're giving you reasons
both
why.
bands,
There.
I mean, I was looking
Yeah,
at the same
Journey's
thing
is-
like you were.
Yeah.
Foreigner came out in '77 with the first album.
Yes.
And then they put out from the 1977 Foreigner, 1978 Double Vision, 1979 Head Games.
Yep.
They finally took a break in 1981, so they took 1 year. They came out with 4.
Yep.
Those were 4 gigantic albums.
Yes.
When you look back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with like Mike said, that's what I picked out. The big difference was if you really wanted to sit down and listen to an album, you put a couple, you put any one of those Journey albums on. There's a couple like real snorers in there that they're strong albums, all of them. There's
Foreigner ones?
four to five good songs on each of their first 4 albums. And even after that, then Agent Provocateur and Inside Information. Inside Information was their first album that didn't chart in the top 10.
Really?
That's a string, man.
That's a great album. They got Heart Turns to Stone, Can't Wait, Say You Will.
I think it was like 15. It was still up there, but it was the first one from their start that didn't hit the top 10. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, because you figure they had the first 3 albums, and then when Foreigner 4 came out, I mean, that was like a massive album, as far as sales. And I mean, it's like,
but they started losing their bass after their biggest song, which was I Want to Know What Love Is.
Yeah.
I think that they started losing some of their bass and some of their fan base because they kind of went away from their sound that they had in the first 4 albums. They started getting, because they had waiting for a girl.
Waiting for a girl like you.
Waiting for a girl like you. I love that song.
That was a big hit, but it was their first real ballady song.
Yeah, that was I call them sappy ballads.
But you know what though?
But that was the era too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everybody was coming out with a ballad.
If you probably at the time when they were probably the first 3 couple tours like that, they're looking on the audience, probably 75 to 85% guys. And it's like, hey, if you start writing these sappy ballads, you're going to start attracting a lot more women.
So now, you guys, who do you think sang better ballads in their bands, Lou Gramm or Steve Perry? Both guys did ballads.
I think they both were suited for the band they were in.
Yeah. I would have to say probably, I think Steve Perry's, the ballads that Journey did, mainly with the Jonathan Cain era, were obviously more popular.
Yeah.
And I think it suited their vocal range, because I think Lou Gramm, he's got a strong,
think about
bluesy,
I Want to Know What Love Is and stuff. That's it. I want to know. There's some range going on there without coming off as sappy.
Right.
Without the Steve Perry squeal type thing to it. Lou had a little bit more.
No, he had a little
gravitas, a little more balls to his
his
voice. Yeah.
No, because
he made the ballad sound a little bit more, less sappy and more just kind of sad, I guess.
Yeah. I think, like you said, Foreigner with Mick Jones, there was some good guitar work in there too. I mean, Neil Sean got a lot of the spotlight in Journey, and I mean, there's some good solos. I love Stone in Love.
Oh yeah, that's
from Escape.
Yeah.
But Mick Jones, I mean, they were Neil's were getting kind of the same, the same formula, big guitar solo, same. Where Mick Jones was a little, going off in a little different direction.
And he was sneaky.
Yeah.
If you listen to something like, I forget which one it was. There was one off the first album, it was Cold as Ice, or Feels Like the First Time, where toward the end, when they go on the guitar solo and stuff, and it's like, you think you're hearing one thing, but if you really listen to it, it's going, this guy's just really ripping the shit out of this thing.
Do you know what, though? I bet
but they never push his
how
guitar
many people
song,
can name the people that were in Foreigner other than Mick Jones and Lou Gramm?
Al Gagliardi,
Ian McDonald.
Ian McDonald.
But after that, after what was it? They started falling away after like
Foreigner 4 had Rick Willis on bass and Dennis Elliott on drums.
Yeah,
but they've had a lot of people in the band.
Since
now.
then, yeah.
Mick Jones and Lou Gramm were the face of Foreigner.
It's almost like America's Got Talent, but Foreigner's Got Talent. It's like, we're bringing new guys. This week, we're going to have this guy
just
play
for another tidbit, John Butcher's keyboard player wasn't Foreigner.
Because John couldn't keep employed anymore.
You just can't get away, John.
Well, no, because John stopped touring. The poor guy to feed his family. He had to go find a job because John was too busy, hanging out with you. You kept him off the road.
The first 3 albums of Foreigner were the big, that's when they had like Ian and that Ed, Gag, and I can't remember his name.
I can't say, it's a bass player.
And then some of them guys, like I think one of the guys was actually producing.
They started cutting guys down.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, all that, because they had Rick Willis in there, and then they brought in, Dennis Elliott was always there, but I think the keyboard player
was still around.
And that was gone.
Okay.
And then that Edgar, whatever bass player, he was gone.
Okay.
Ian McDonald, I don't know if he obviously didn't tour with the band, but I don't know if he had any input on
He
that.
just died recently, I think.
Really?
Everybody's dying.
Yeah, I think he just died.
Because he was, I think he.
Are you
was,
dead?
I have to.
Actually, no.
I'm probably
That's the thing.
three-quarters.
All right. And again, just to remind everybody, Lemmy's not dead. He's just resting his eyes. So don't worry. Lemmy is
Okay.
still with
All right.
us.
Good.
He's just
Long live
resting his eyes.
Long live Lemmy.
Yeah, he.
Long live Lemmy.
It's getting to the point though. It's once a week now. Someone dies. From our
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost at a point. It's like
Nothing shocks you anymore.
no.
Lacey Underall passed away.
Yeah, you saw it. Oh, she decomposed too. It sounds like.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It sounds like they found her in a place in Florida, but it'd been a couple days.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it sounds like she had been there.
Her
So
roommate came back from a trip.
yeah.
Smelled something foul.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch, ouch, ouch.
So that's not good. You don't want to. Yeah.
Because she was young. She was
69.
Yeah, 69.
Good. You said 69.
I didn't know she was that old. I thought she was younger than that.
Ah.
You know, but yeah, it's like every
Yeah. I mean,
it's a couple that go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to have to get used to that. In fact, we'll probably do one show just on, people who died.
yeah. We'll just
We'll be down there one day.
died.
Mike won't be with us anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, he died. Okay. What else is new? Somebody else died.
Found him in his basement.
Yeah, found him in his basement. There you go. I don't want to decompose. Somebody please find me when I
Who
die.
cares? You're dead.
Well, yeah, but
dead.
still.
All right, let's move on to another.
Yeah, all
Let's
right.
not
It's
talk
getting
about
morbid.
it.
This is like a
Getting
death
barbaric.
metal show now. It's a death metal hour. Let's talk about decomposing bodies.
is that the name of a band?
Probably decomposing
I'm sure it
bodies would be a
was.
great name. There
Yeah.
you go.
All right. No, okay. The next.
Decom bods.
Okay, what's next?
Ario and Styx,
Oh,
which I mean, what was really interesting is when I looking back at like a lot of like the Styx albums, because they've had, I mean, they had before.
they're kind of like Journey. They
Yeah,
had like
they had a lot of
3 or
albums.
4 albums out before they got known.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Progressive-y.
Good call, Mike.
Right.
And except for Lady was on the second album. Which
Yeah.
is an outlier. 'Cause
Which
the
is
rest
weird,
of the
yeah.
album was all
Because
proggy.
that's another.
Was it Lorelei on one of those really early albums too?
Yeah,
And then-
was it,
and then
Equinox?
Tommy Shaw
Equinox.
didn't come until later.
Right, he didn't come in
That's when
until
they really. That's when they started. When they changed.
right. That was when Equinox is when he showed up in the band. That's what Lorelei and Light Up. And it's weird because you think
I remember this song.
it's weird because Lady, you figure that was kind of towards the later, like something like around Grand Illusion or something like that. And that was like say that was off the second album. So they had this hit from the early 70s that was still out there,
Right.
and
And they were trying to.
But didn't fit in on the album.
right, yeah, oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that's right.
early
Ladies
stuff,
and early,
weird stuff.
ladies and early, it's.
That
early-
is funny because you're right because that song was out there. It was getting airplay, like you guys said, and yet it was still a couple albums behind them even getting their name for themselves. They were
Right.
just kind of a one-hit band, and that shows how good record companies were back in the day. So you know what? We're going to grow you. We
Yes.
see something, we'll let it go. You try it today, there shouldn't be kicked out the door the next day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
That's-
okay, they gave him a chance. So okay, we feel there's something going on here. Let's see what happens, and boom,
Yeah.
bingo, bango, it
Yep.
worked out for him.
No, yeah, because because really, to me, I mean, the first album that I ever really bought by him was Grand Illusion. That was the first album that I.
I don't have a Styx album.
If I was-
that's
Oh, I
the
got
only
the greatest
one.
hits.
That's
If
the
I
only
was
one.
going to pick one, that
I
would
had
be
that
my
on
favorite
LP.
album.
I
from
had that
Styx.
on LP.
Yeah.
That was, but yeah, you start looking and it's like, then you had Pieces of 8 that had Blue Collar and Renegade on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because then another thing is another band, another album, Cornerstone, that didn't come out till after that had Babe on it.
Yep.
And
that
that's
was
when-
their biggest album too.
And that was weird because that would be something like you figure that
Paradise Theater was bigger.
bigger. See, now when they started getting into that one,
And that
Dennis
was
DeYoung,
I was looking at the stats on some of these, and Paradise Theater went number 1.
really?
Yep, and
That's Mr. Roboto.
Cornerstone.
that's
Cornerstone before that went to number 2.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I know.
That's
Again, a little bit softer.
Yeah,
you know.
No, I mean, I
think there's
looked at
kind of
the
a pattern.
yeah, I looked at the song list on them. I'm like, Okay, I don't really know a lot of these songs, but no, Mr. Roboto was on Kilroy with him.
Kilroy's here. You're right.
Which I don't know if you ever seen
Paradise
the
Theater
interview.
had what? The Don't Let It End or
It had Rockin' the Paradise.
Yeah.
Oh.
Too Much Time on My Hands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Best of Times.
Best, yeah.
I
Yeah, it's
see
like
a
that.
lot of the Too Much Time on My Hand was a heavier song.
So that would have been
Right.
They were
But-
getting a more poppy, not
Right.
pop, but more of
But
a
I mean-
poppy,
So that-
lighter sound.
You come off of Blue Collar, you have Blue Collar Man
Yeah.
and Renegade, and then a couple albums later, you got this Too Much Time on My Hand, which is I remember seeing that video on MTV all the time.
yeah,
That's not bad. That's the one with the guy spilling the drink in the bar and stuff.
Yeah, it's-
And then-
yeah. I didn't think that song was bad,
so
No.
now
but Mr. Roboto, sorry man,
So-
I'm checked out on that
No,
one.
that was like horrible.
And apparently they started playing that again now on their tours.
Oh, really?
They hadn't played for years because nobody liked that. That was a Dennis DeYoung thing.
Yeah, that was old. Well, did you heard the story behind that album? When they were on tour, they were doing they were headlining this tour, and ZZ Top was on the tour. They were doing this massive like big stadium or big like a football stadium tour with this thing, and they were in Texas, and ZZ Top was ripping it up on stage, and you know they come off and the
Play Mr.
and they had to open up with they opened up with the whole
Yeah.
the
the costumes
Yeah, they had
and
a
the
big stage
robots.
show.
and,
It was a
and they've
big
been doing that,
production.
and they were doing that the whole tour, and
yeah, that's
Tommy
not
Shaw
gonna-
and Tommy
that's
they
not
were-
going to end well.
No.
well, yeah, so say, and they've been doing this the whole time, and they say, and obviously, you know, ZZ Top is like, you know,
Get me the hell out of here.
they're in Texas, they're in the state of Texas with ZZ Top ripping it up, and Tommy Shaw goes, do we really have to on this look what's going on out there?
Yeah.
Do you really want to go out there and start out what we're going to do? We're going to get booed off the stage. And he's like, that's it. I'm done. We got to get this guy out of the band.
I saw Dennis DeYoung at one of those free Riverfront concerts,
Uh-huh.
and he was really good. He had a great band.
He's got a great voice.
He played
Yeah, I mean,
he played
yeah.
all the songs he needed to play.
Uh-huh.
He still sounded good, you know. And but I think he was the problem in that era. That's why they won't get back together with him. But
yeah, because like I
there was
said,
some deep wounds, man. But he said, I heard him on already. He said, I'd like to do one more round with him, just a tour. I'm not asking to record. I kind of felt bad for him because I think he
like it was Tommy Shaw
let
just kind of
bygones be bygones.
He
And
does kind of paint himself as a martyr a little bit, though.
yeah,
You
but it's
know,
like
it's
anything
like,
else. It's
well,
been all these years, man. Just do one more time. My
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
You know, why do these guys hold grudges? They're millionaires, most of them.
Yeah.
Just do it. You know,
Yep.
You made a mistake, or you didn't agree on that. You know, that production was odd, like you said. You don't take that out with ZZ Top.
No. ZZ Top opening before you? Oh, way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go out there and you do.
You got it, yeah. You
So
gotta,
I'm taking it. What's your band out of the two?
well, no, you were saying that what we were. Kurt started off. I said, so you're the explanation you gave for Paradise Theater sounds exactly like High Infidelity.
Kind of.
As far as how they had some rocking songs, but it kind of got a little bit too slick.
Yeah, well, that was because actually
Well,
REO, out of the two,
that'll be the next one. So
REO is the band that I like. Out of the two,
Okay, so
it's
there you
REO.
go.
You're picking REO. I'm picking REO.
I'm
I'm picking REO too.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, because
But
I
I
know.
think you can't argue that High Infidelity is a classic. I mean, whether you like
Yeah,
the
it's solid.
ballads,
Oh,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
no,
it's-
it's a front to back.
For that era, they've hit all the freaking.
Oh,
Yeah,
that-
it's a front to back. You got anything from In Your
Yeah.
Letter to Take on the Run to I mean everything's
And
out there.
REO's
You got
another-
everything. on
REO
there.
was another band, man. They just pumped out. They went through the couple when they had what's his name Cronin for one album, and then
Yep.
he left a couple albums.
Yep, and then they came back.
Cronin's really been the guy.
Mhm.
There are
Oh, he
other
was-
albums without him.
Right.
I have them. They're
Okay.
they're a little bit heavier albums,
No, I mean,
but
the
you can't
studio
argue
albums
the
are-
fact that the albums he's played on are their best albums. You know,
Mhm.
but one thing I like. I don't know if you ever listened to their first album.
No,
It's
I
a good
haven't.
album. It rocks. Gary Rickrath's on there. His guitar works good, and that's got 157 Riverside Avenue on it.
Okay.
And they still play that.
See, now I cheated. I kind of my favorite REO was, I guess, it's considered a compilation that Decades,
Mm-hmm.
the red one,
Yeah.
which has little bit of live and everything else, but it's got 157, the Ride the Storm Out live
But that's got
versions
the live
and stuff.
version of 1.
Yeah. So then
The original's good
that's
too.
a great
There's a
album.
couple-
I know
There's
it's
a
the
couple
greatest
good
hits
rocking
album.
songs on that first
Okay.
album without
Okay.
Kevin Cronin, and Gary's really good on there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't argue the success came when Cronin
Yeah.
came in.
Well, I mean, because they really started, it was what, the live album, You Get What You Play For. That one kind of hit platinum. You know, that was kind of bringing up. Then you came up with, you tune piano, but you can't tune a fish, which that was around the time when I started,
Yeah.
that's when I got into them,
It's weird. It's going to sound stupid, but they were huge, but they didn't seem like they were huge. I mean, they were. It seemed like they didn't get the journey.
But they were doing stadiums before.
Yeah, but I mean, it just seemed like they never really got, the props everybody else did.
Right. Well, yeah,
They
because
just the meg. Again, I think they suffered from they had the huge album, and then the follow up was okay.
Oh,
had a
Nine
couple
Lives?
good songs. No,
Line Live was going backwards. It was the one with
follow up.
Good Trouble. Is that
Yes.
Good Trouble? Good Trouble.
Yeah, Good
Yeah.
Trouble, and it had what song was it? I had it written here.
So You
Good
Love
Trouble,
Me?
Keep Fire Burning on it.
Oh,
That was
Keep
the
the
bit. That was the
Fire
hit off of it.
Burning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that wasn't a huge hit, but they came right off the road and put the album together and put it out. And then they kind of suffered after that a little bit with again, a couple big ballads on the album. It was
Right.
it was that era. But
Yeah.
going back to what you said about Foreigner, if you're going to put an album on, you can put an REO album on. They're better albums.
Yeah.
And listen them through. There's other strong songs on them. Where Styx,
Oh, yeah.
they got the couple
yeah.
hits.
Yep,
but
and
the
then after
filler
that, it kind
songs
of-
are not.
yeah.
No,
yeah.
Again, don't hate them.
Right.
I just think if you were picking a band to sit and listen to, that's just
Yeah, and again, that's not what we're here about. We're not here and saying you stink and you're the greatest. It's just what.
no. They should
Why
all
do
be
we
in
like
the
'em?
Hall of Fame, in
Yeah.
my opinion. All those bands.
Yeah.
Styx, REO,
Oh, yeah. They should be.
Foreigner, and Journey's in. But
Yeah.
Styx and Foreigner and REO, I think deserve to be. And they were big '70s bands.
It's just funny. It just seemed like it had to be like a 10-year span. Every summer at Pine Knob, they would have this package deal, and it'd be like the same 5 bands. It'd be like a Benatar.
Yeah, but that was already after the big.
And again, and this is not good or bad. It just was kind of weird. Like Styx and REO,
Oh,
these
yeah.
guys just seemed like they were just always touring with each other,
Yeah.
with Frampton thrown in there, or Pat Benatar, or they would throw in somebody else in
that
there.
started happening towards the late
And
90s.
that was good. It was good. Yeah, it was good value for us.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I'm not a big fan of so and so, but I like so and so, but I like a little bit of this enough to go, okay. And the prices are cheap. I was sitting along, and hey,
And
we'll see 3 bands for
And they were basically really playing like their hits.
Yes,
and
they
their-
weren't going deep dives
And
because
they,
they were
were
just
doing and the concert favorites.
Yeah.
So they weren't like, well, we're putting out a new album and we're gonna
Right.
play a new song off the album, and a third to half of the crowd leaves and goes to do a beer run or something like
Basically,
that.
I think they kicked Gary Rick Rath out because he was, he had an alcohol problem.
Right.
And after
Well,
that,
it was-
they suffered. They suffered from that a little bit.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and there was also there was a thing with Kevin
wait a minute,
started having an
Gratzer
issue.
left too shortly after that
Gratzer
too.
left.
He retired.
he
right.
left the Buck.
Well, no, there
a year
was
or two after.
the Gary Rick Rath thing was. It's actually it started around. Well, actually when
He
they
didn't
did,
want to do the pop shit.
Right.
He wanted to be a rock and roll.
Yeah.
But he did have a drinking problem.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, that
Oh, he was
eventually
we
that
saw
kind
pictures. He was bloated as
Yeah.
he was.
that was
bad.
that eventually
It was part
kind
of it.
that was part
But
of
there
it.
was
But
a battle between
him and Kevin, because Kevin started writing these ballads, but he, and there was one time where they were doing "Keep on Loving You," and Gary wasn't happy with the song, but when they went in the studio, he added some of them power chords to it, and Kevin's like, yeah, okay, this sounds really good.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. And they went out on tour and they were doing it, and they did the song, and it blew up. Everybody was excited about it, and Gary at the end of the shows will go. The show goes, man, he commented how great that was, and Kevin kind of looked at him like, you fucking asshole, you didn't want to do this fucking song. Now you're happy that So
Yeah,
it kind
you know,
that kind of that was where the tugging thing began with.
But you know, I get that. I mean, you're a musician, you're a guitar player, you want to show your skills and stuff. But I mean, you want to still be playing bars, or you want to be playing arenas and making a bunch of cash. Suck it up, Buttercup. If you want to do that, make a solo album so you get your rocks off doing that. But don't sit there and shoot the golden goose.
The bands like the people we listen to is they would come out with that one big ballad, and you just can't follow it with another comparable one. So they started getting kind of cheesy sounding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
didn't think there was a lot of thought
kind
to
of a band. If you were a ballad person, then you can get away with it. But when you start that era, it was even the hair bands had to have a ballad.
Yeah.
Judas Priest, Out in the Cold.
Yeah.
When they did a ballad, I thought I was going to shit my pants. Judas Priest is doing a ballad.
Yeah. But going back to REO is right. It was the reason why I think there was an issue with Gary and Kevin. I think it was Gary that really started the band. He was the one that.
Okay, so he thought he was being usurped and stuff, kind of the Brian Jones, Keith Richards thing. I said, this was my band. You took it away from me.
So that's why Gary was being Gary, because it's like, wait a minute, I started this as my idea, and it was supposed to be a hard rocking band. Like you said, the earlier albums got some hard rocking to them, and Gary's looking out, going, we're still playing, stadiums, but we're not packing the big stadium. They're doing, so he was probably happy with that, but then kind of them ballady stuff, and it's like, no, that's what we're not going to be doing here.
The problem with the ballads is that, you're getting
you get
girls and stuff like that,
and
they're not. They don't stay with you. The next ballad's not as good, and they're like, all right, well, I'm not done with REO. I'm going to move on to the next ballad I like.
And like you were saying, Mike, because every band at some point hit one is okay. Well, now I got to put on every album. No, you don't.
I don't blame them.
You don't. You're right. It's like, well, let's try it again. And like you said, as the albums went further and further on, the ballads got more and more weaker and really less thought out, and just kind of just really like, ugh.
There's
it's like
one. There's one REO ballad. Is it the one on the greatest hits? It was like previously unreleased. One Night. So, I can't listen to it, man. It's really bad. But again, it was after High Infidelity time.
Yeah.
And
right.
Well, that
it was
album,
like a leftover, I think.
Yeah, that album just.
Well, the funny thing too is that a lot of you guys too think, well, we struck gold on one, I can try it again. No, you can't. Ballads are tricky.
Yeah.
When we talked about Styx, same thing. I mean, they had Lady, Babe.
Yeah.
Those made them a lot of money. Those were big songs.
See, but what Styx did, though, Lady and Babe were separated enough that it wasn't like back to back in the next album. So if maybe they kind of played it smart by saying, okay, it wasn't like, okay, every album's got to have a ballad. But for Styx, I don't know enough about their back catalog. I think that on some of those albums they had a ballad on there, right? Like on Paradise Theater, it was kind of like something about.
There was.
They had some slower ballads.
Yeah, there was the best of time.
The
best of
times.
Yeah.
They made a drastic change from when they first came out.
Yeah, that Kilroy thing really almost killed them.
What?
Yeah.
That Kilroy thing, that was their elder.
Yeah. No, but it charted high.
Yeah, you're right. I can't say that.
Like
There's
there's a little.
They're playing, Mr. Roboto. Kiss is not playing I.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it was it charted for them. It did very well, but I think the band in general were like we're not doing this again.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm not touring this. I'm not going to dress up on a robot thing and go out there and do the opening.
See, now you're right. It's tough because you're putting yourself out there. It's not like you're blowing stuff up and stuff like that, or just you're kind of making a cartoon caricature yourself.
Yes.
Again, people would say, well, so was Kiss, but I mean, no, that was more a theater type thing. But
it was a story.
And Styx was trying to do some kind of
rock
opera thing with a thing with computers and just. Yeah, the normal Styx fan, or someone sitting in the road just watched ZZ Top almost burn the place down. And had to watch that, going, "What the hell am I watching here?" Yeah, I could see them losing their damn minds.
Yeah, and Tommy's looking out, going,
"It was such
man,
we gonna kill those boys." They ain't gonna make it back to their dressing rooms. Y'all best get off now.
We won't ZZ Top back.
Yeah. Was that you
What?
or Zag? At Frantone's bar.
I think I was with you. Play some ZZ
play
We
ZZ
were
Top.
at
Play
Frantone's
ZZ
bar,
Top.
13 Mile in Gratiot.
Was it
No,
Masonic?
Masonic
It
Masonic
was
and
Masonic
Gratiot.
and Gratiot.
Rough old biker
Oh, yeah,
bar.
that
It's
was-
tore
yeah.
down and stuff. We went in there. I don't know what the hell made us go in there.
Could play 3 songs for
And
a
we
quarter
went
on
in
a
there, we went to the
jukebox.
jukebox because we all go into a bar and we would play the jukebox, just kind of, lighten things up and stuff. I'm looking over there and this big guy, size of, a mountain and stuff, comes up. He just kind of leans over very politely, says, "Play some ZZ Top." "Yes, sir, I am." That was, I'll play the whole damn catalog. I says, "Finish your beer. We're getting the hell out of here. We're going to die."
Yeah, we went in there after a concert.
Yeah,
I remember that.
We're going to play
Mike walked up to me and said, "We got to get out of here. This guy just told me to play ZZ Top."
and he was
And all of a sudden I
serious.
hear,
Yeah. And those guys weren't in heaven, but we're like, "Oh, we're in hell. We got to get the hell out of here."
and don't play that new stuff either.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. That was just a sidetrack. That was a nice little add-on story to that. But yeah, the ZZ Top fans are
Yeah.
very persuasive.
Yes.
But
Yes.
so far, we've been in agreement. I think this one
Yeah.
here might be
Okay.
different.
All right.
So-
Well, the next one might.
That's
Next
funny
one is
feeling.
The
Okay.
Eagles and Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Who wants to start this one off? How about you, Mike?
Let's
start over
this
this
one's
one.
a hard one for me because
Oh, this will be very hard for me.
I like them both, but I'm not gigantic. I'm not going to be their number one fan.
Yeah.
But I lean towards I think, like, again, if I was going to put an album on and listen to the whole album and all that, I'd probably lean towards Fleetwood Mac just
Okay.
because different singers on different songs.
Yeah.
The Eagles, I like their heavier stuff, like Take It Easy,
Mhm.
Witchy Woman, Hotel California was a good tune. You can't argue that. Life in the Fast Lane,
Mhm.
Already Gone. But then you start listening to like Tequila Sunrise,
Mm-hmm.
One of These Nights. Some of the slower ones, they start kind of sounding the same to me, and I start falling asleep.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta really be in a mood to listen to multiple Eagles songs in a row.
Got it.
You gotta be in some, you gotta be in that, you gotta be wanting to listen to that, but Fleetwood Mac, I can put Rumors was obviously a great album.
Yep.
I even like some of the old Peter Green stuff too.
So yeah. So do I. Yep.
So you gotta look at Fleetwood Mac in like 3 eras.
Yes.
Peter Green, Bob Welch,
Yep.
and
Lindsey Buckingham.
and
Yeah.
Stevie Nicks.
Yep.
But I don't dislike either of them. Eagles, I can only take in bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sit down and like listen to an Eagles album all the way through anymore. But I
Got
like
it.
some of their faster, heavier songs.
Right.
But they got a lot of
Like Victim of Love too. Yeah. They also
Ooh,
got
Victim of Love. Yeah.
Yeah, Victim of Love's a good tune.
Long Run.
Fleetwood Mac, they got there's so many wide-ranging types of songs.
Oh, yeah.
Voices in them.
Oh, yeah.
Who's singing.
Oh yeah, that's cool because with Fleetwood Mac you have Christy McVie's stuff.
Some of Lindsey Buckingham's guitar work is different.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's
No, he's-
real different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that, there's a little bit of a variance in their songs as
Mhm.
opposed. There's some Eagles songs that are kind of the same.
Mhm.
Especially the slower ones.
That's a great point, Mike, because you're right. Because obviously, they had Henley and Fry singing, but in Fleetwood Mac, you had Christy McVie, Stevie, and Lindsay singing.
All
And you're
different
right.
ones.
So even if it didn't make the album sound like it was one long, like you said, it kind of sounds the same. Yeah, the Fleetwood Mac, you could bounce from a Stevie song, which is usually a little bit more this way, and a Christine song, which is a little bit more mellower sometimes, or a Lindsay song, which what you're going to get and stuff. But no, that's a good poll there. But you know what? The album I like the best from Fleetwood Mac though is really weird. It's Tango of the Night.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, that's one from front to back. It's all over the place.
Tusk.
No.
Which they just played a commercial with that song in it again.
Oh, really?
It's still kind of
Sarah,
coming
I love
back.
that. Oh, you're
No,
actually
Tusk.
to play the Tusk commercial. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
that one. That
They
album.
use that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that album was.
different.
Yeah. It
That's
was.
the only you can say. It was
It
different.
was. Yeah.
didn't you read one of the Fleetwood Mac books or stuff? Wasn't that pretty much, that was a lot of snow involved in that album?
Yeah.
There was a lot of blow.
Yep, and it was Lindsey Buckingham basically on tour when they were
wanted to take over the band so much, and
they were on the Rumors tour. Things were going well, and he was locking himself in the hotel room with a little 4-track recorder and just recording away. And like you say, a lot of blow going on, and they basically were like, "Hey, he did because he was highly involved in the Rumors album." So they're like, Mick goes, "All right, go ahead," and he'd come up with this thing. They did the whole Tusk album, and Mick goes, "Yeah, we're not doing that anymore."
Now, would it be fair to say that the pressures that the Eagles felt after Hotel California and trying to do a long run, Fleetwood Mac experienced following up Rumors with Tusk? Because both of them were kind of, they were long after they came after that album, and for different reasons, the Eagles just couldn't get out of their own asses and stuff. They couldn't figure out, they didn't want everything perfect.
The drugs kicked in.
Where Fleetwood Mac was kind of like, okay, we're just super huge, we're going to go to a different stratosphere and just do as much dope as we can and stuff and see what we can come up with. But it seemed like there's a nice dichotomy there where it's like they both had really huge albums they were trying to follow up with, and they both struggled in both ways of doing that. But,
right. Well, because Lindsey, I've seen an interview with Lindsey. He was on Dan Rather's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's he really likes that album. He's later on.
He's got to.
Of course, he wrote it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
It's like,
man, I really enjoyed that.
It's like saying I hate one of my kids. I don't like
he even said, he goes, I look back at that album, and it's like, sometimes they'll make an album go, yeah, it was good, but he just is enthralled with that album. I mean, he just thought it was
nobody
a
else
masterpiece.
is.
Yeah, pretty much. You're an island
I
there,
didn't look
buddy.
the data up on those albums, but I don't know how it sold. I don't know how it did.
Well, the thing about those is if you're following up a super huge album like Frampton Comes Alive, when he did I'm In You, you're going to get at least 3 million right out of the box just because you're going to get that bleed over.
Also,
but then at a certain point, it's going to level off to the point where it's like, okay, it stops.
Coming out with a double studio album was pretty radical.
Right, because
those were kind of, the double albums were for live albums.
Yes.
And there's not many people that came out with double studio albums unless they were like, Jethro Tull.
Or
the big, the prog bands that were playing 10-minute songs. So, that was kind of unusual
2 albums
too.
to play 4 songs.
Yeah. Tusk had, 30 songs on it. They were regular length songs. It wasn't a jam album.
Right.
And, that was pretty chancy too, I think. But again, can't blame him for trying something different.
No, he just, he, like I said, Mick just kind of let him go and, hey, go ahead. He was probably figuring, hey, let him go and we'll have another kind of a Rumors type album. And he come up with this stuff.
Man, he just said, let's get out of here. Let's get this done. And we're going to go back on the road.
Right. And
then it all blew up on him.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're Fleetwood Mac?
I'm Fleetwood Mac.
This is the one you said you're going to struggle with?
Yeah.
Because Dan Fogelver's going to be involved in there somewhere?
Yeah, he kind of hung out.
I'm predicting Kurt goes with the Eagles.
Hold on. Let's see. What does Point Spread say about this? Let's see. I'm thinking... Yeah, he's going to go the Jackson Brown, maybe Dan Fogelberg angle stuff there. I think he's going to go. Yeah, I think he's going to go Eagles.
It's this one here is so tough that
you got to pick one.
It's going to be tough.
You got to do it.
I don't know yet.
Do it.
You cannot be a tie.
Because
it can't be a tie.
Both of them had great album, like Hotel California is an album that I can play that album all the time. I can play the Rumors album all the time. I like the Peter Green stuff. I've heard some of that stuff. I mean, but I do like, I know some of the ballady stuff with the Eagles, but what I like about the Eagles is all the stories that goes through a lot of them songs, like Peaceful Easy Feeling, Lying Eyes.
The lyrics.
Yes, the lyrics, and they, Witchy Woman is, that's,
Which a woman?
Yeah, which a?
Seinfeld.
Yeah, that was classic.
Quiet, Desperado's on.
That song is
Better
It's
done
a
by Linda
unique sounding
Ronstadt.
song. I think it's a unique
And
sounding
And
song.
that actually is the Eagles, because when they did that one, it wasn't going anywhere, and Linda took it and brought it to new heights.
Better done
and it
by
actually,
her.
It looped back around and helped them guys
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
because they
But
put
you
it
got to
out.
pick one, Kurt. You're holding us up.
Yeah. You've had days to figure this out.
I know, and I'm still struggling.
Are you really?
Yes, because
I can't think of anything that would actually make me struggle that hard.
I think deep down you want to pick the Eagles.
I don't know.
That's the problem.
I might have to. I think what I might
You're
do
gonna
is I'm going to probably go with Fleetwood Mac. I think.
Okay.
Wow.
Right. But a narrow some margins,
yes,
though, right?
Narrow margin. Yep.
In overtime.
Wow.
Yes. This is an overtime
There's an
win.
overtime. Yes. Overtime. Took it all the way to the limit.
It was like hockey. Both teams get a point, but Fleetwood Mac gets the extra one.
Yeah.
Wow, you shacked me. I thought for sure you'd go Eagles.
All right. Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, who knows? I could wake up tomorrow and go, nope, the Eagles.
Okay.
So then what we'll do is I'll say that. I'll go Fleetwood Mac right now, and I could go the Eagles. So if we want to re-edit
You
it,
go
I'll
home and
throw the
listen
Eagles.
to Hotel California.
No,
Now
just-
you're going to be the Eagles.
Yes, probably.
All right. Fair enough.
Okay. All right. So the next one, go ahead.
That's the Van Halen.
No, this is Bon
Bon
Jovi.
Jovi
against
and
Bon
Def
Jovi
Leppard.
and Def Leppard. Bon Jovi, Def Leppard.
Now this could be one where I
Well,
could
you might
pull the
struggle.
old I
You're
might
gonna
struggle on, but
I
think I got a winner.
We're gonna hold you. We're gonna hold you
right.
through it. You got to say.
I think I'm gonna be okay with my
All right.
choice.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, all right, let's start.
You
We'll let
start.
you lead. We'll let you lead.
Yeah, I
can't
just
take
went
the
through that whole, I just
suspense.
went through the whole damn thing there.
can't take the
Okay, yeah, all
suspense.
right, you go ahead.
No, we're gonna let you. No, you're not gonna be able to sit back on this one
I'm going to go with.
as he struggles through with all his.
I got my
all his
notes here.
You know,
Bon Jovi notes.
if you wrote them on your shoe or your hand, you wouldn't be going through all this.
No,
The
you're
cheat
right.
sheet- The cheat sheet here,
Def Leppard. Only
Okay.
because Bon Jovi was, it still is, those first couple albums. Like we were going back to the front to back album things where you could listen from front to back. First album, there's not a boner on there.
I'm picking Def Leppard too, and again, tough
Yeah.
call. But you tell me if
But
this
yeah,
is the
the
reason.
first-
I want to see if your
Here.
reason's the same
Okay,
as mine.
the first album of Bon Jovi, again, front to back,
No,
not a boner.
I have it. The Bon Jovi, the 7,800 degree
Yeah.
Fahrenheit, Slippery When Wet, New Jersey.
7,800.
Then Keep the Faith came, and there was some good stuff on.
Yeah.
But after that,
No,
it just started.
fell off the
and so
bat.
here was my decision maker was, and you can put Def Leppard kind of in this because the first album, the second album, the third album, Pyromania, rocked, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
And then they got in Hysteria. I still like Hysteria, but they started.
You could tell that they were.
started getting away, and then Adrenalize a little more, and then they, but they had Slang, they had, but you can find some rocking songs on all their albums. They still have some songs that stick to the core of not quite as heavy as High and Dry and all that.
Right.
Where Bon Jovi, man, he's really, the last couple albums, have you listened to him?
Well,
He's really got
where I was
like-
going with that is that the first album was great. 7,800 degrees Fahrenheit. There's only maybe 4 songs on it. Like New Jersey, Slippery and Wet was fantastic. My thing was it started to kind of all sound like a formula.
Yeah.
It sounded like, okay, it was rock and roll. Then he threw a couple ballads. And if anything, he started sounding kind of Bruce Springsteen. When he started writing his songs, he's kind of like Dina and Johnny, kind of like that whole, okay, I'm kind of getting tired of that whole, that whole shtick.
Yeah, started kind of with New Jersey.
Where, and then it kind of just petered out to the point. I was like, okay, I can't anymore. I mean, you're a great band, but you're kind of keep rehashing the same stuff over.
I mean, if you
But
look
Def
back,
Leppard, fantastic. Every album sounded different. Pyromania sounds different than Hysterica. Hysterica sound different than Euphoria, which is a great underrated album.
I had that.
That is probably
That's
my
what I
favorite.
said. They came back with Euphoria, kind of. So you can go through Def Leppard's
And they're
career.
still viable and still making good, solid albums and stuff. So, and they're always a surprise to me because you could listen, again, Pyromania front to back, Hysteria front to back. Even if you're tired of the song, like Animal or Armageddon, if you just kind of listen and just tune out maybe the vocals or the bass and just focus on the way the guitars are layered and stuff, you could always find something in a Def Leppard song that will just go, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, they really thought that out. If VH1 Classic used to do, classic albums, and they had Joe Elliott in there and Sav, the bass player, in there, and they were breaking down, I think it was Pyromania, and the big control knobs, they're doing this.
I saw that.
Yeah. That fascinated the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Like, well, here's just the chorus, or here's just this, and just the ability to put all that stuff together to make it sound the way it sounds is still to this day, you can hear the difference when it breaks out when you listen to it. Where again, we're Bon Jovi, great band, but they just kind of got into kind of a rut. They went that whole New Jersey route.
We saw Bon Jovi back when
for
when
free
he first came out.
At Hart Plaza.
At Hart Plaza, saw him at Cobo when he was running around the stage, and he was very active.
Yes.
And then I saw him again at Pine Knob, Comerica was with Sheryl Crow. It was one of those package deals.
Well, that was later.
Yeah,
that was
and then he just stuck by the microphone. He stopped. And he wasn't
moving
that
and
old.
dancing.
You can't believe a 7-year-old guy to be running around stage like he did when he was in his 20s.
Mm-hmm.
But his whole show changed. Everything it kind of changed.
Well,
with
didn't
him.
he kind of dip his toe in the country a little bit there, and it just kind of
just with Jennifer Nettles.
Yeah, and it didn't. Yeah,
and there's no doubt. I don't know. I mean, after that last tour, he got a lot of bad press, a lot of bad YouTube with his voice.
Yeah,
but
I seen that.
he was playing Comerica Park. He was still selling tickets. He was playing Ford Field. He could fill Ford Field back a couple years. I don't know now, man. He might have. I don't even know if he's going to be able to tour because his voice was shot.
But see, he doesn't. A lot of his songs, I'm trying to think in my head, they're not screamers. Like, you get love a bad.
They said a lot of them
bad
might be
medicine and stuff.
Living out of prayers, kind of. He's got to hit.
That's mostly chorus, though. He could actually put that. He could have the background guys sing that.
Go check some of them YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, I see.
If you're telling me it's bad, I'm not going to watch.
But
really
they say
bad.
it could have been something in his head.
It's that bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah, really bad.
Embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
I would have called it off.
Even the band were like, uh-oh.
I would have called it off.
Vince Neil bad?
I'll give him this much. He didn't put tracks in there.
No, he didn't. It was his voice and stuff. It was singing.
Bad. I mean, it was bad enough.
David Lee Roth bad?
It was.
It was worse.
It was. Yeah. It was. It's like
David Lee Roth. Isn't that it was bad with David Lee Roth?
David just doesn't care.
Dave would talk the songs.
Yeah.
It almost like
Vince Neil. Vince Neil thinks he still can sing.
I think worse.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was almost like he became tone deaf.
Yeah.
He was way off. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was way off, and the band was even. You could see the keyboard player, and that one kind of looked over like he had kind of a semi-blank look on his face, like, okay, what key we in now?
Maybe Joe Davola kicked him in the head.
It was almost like you couldn't try to sing that bad.
Yeah,
That's
it was. Yeah, it was like It's like
he got lit up. I mean, it was all over.
Man,
that's how I found out about it. It was like a headline and I went on YouTube and I'm like, wow, this is really. They're not joking. He's bad.
Yeah.
And he finished the tour, but he hasn't talked about touring again since.
Yeah.
And Sambora wants to come back. There's all that rumor 40th anniversary or 45th or something.
Yeah.
But he said, he goes, I can't. John's got to fix his voice. Even Sambora said that.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, now with my excuse, my choosing Def Leppard at that, you said you were waiting to see if you were the same reason why you picked Def Leppard.
Like you were saying, they kind of came out the country, but Def Leppard, there's on all the albums, there's still stuff in it you can pick out that's acceptable.
Euphoria is just incredible.
I hate Bon Jovi.
And again, it's not this was all about.
I'm a way bigger Bon Jovi fan from the first couple albums than anything he's put out in the last 15 years.
Right.
Or Def Leppard, even Slang, which got ripped when it came out. If you go back and listen to it, there's a couple songs on there that are not bad songs.
No,
and that was the grunge era.
Yeah,
Somebody was
they were trying to change.
You got to look at it that way too. As when music was changing, a lot of them had to try to change.
Yeah,
but there's still some good songs on there. That,
I guess the grunge era they call it the stare at your feet.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, the shoegaze.
Like Mike said, Euphoria was a great album.
Oh, that's a front to back album too.
Yeah,
and it just again the way they layered their sound. Again, it's producers and stuff, but boy, they just do a really good job on that.
And
the thing was, I saw something the other day. D. Snyder said, you know what? It was hard to take Bon Jovi seriously as a hair metal guy because he was happy metal. He always smiling all the time. He was always.
He's starting to bother me.
Yeah, D's kind of. Yeah.
You know, Twisted Sister was not that big.
No,
You know, it's funny you say that because you're right.
Why he thinks he's the king of rock and roll. He has no room.
Well, no,
Bon Jovi sold a lot more albums than D. Snyder.
Well, there you go. Sing it, Mike. Keep going. Keep going. You know, you're right. You're with it because he had a decent radio show, that metal show on MTV, and he also had a radio show that you should listen to on the way to bowling and stuff, which is good. But you're right. He is really thinking he's more than he really is.
Did you see what he's doing now?
I don't see anybody say my influence was Twisted Sister.
You know, he's had a lot of things bombed too. He tried to do a Toronto like a play.
Okay.
That he wrote and all that. And it
was a horror film or a play or whatever.
It bombed like a Broadway. He wanted to get it to Broadway. It didn't fly in Toronto either. But he so now what he's doing is he's going out this summer with Bret Michaels. Ugh. He's going to go up and sing it because Bret's doing that. It's got a thing. He did it last year at Pine Knob.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's a theme to it.
Yeah, Night Ranger with him. He had a bunch of people coming. Mardi Gras or something. A Party Gras.
Something like that.
And he's trying to package something together.
Losing my hair gras.
Yeah. But he's going out this summer with Poison or Bret Michaels, and he's going to go up with his band, with Poison or whoever Bret Michaels takes out with him, and then he's singing his two big hits.
Does that interest you at all?
And so to keep him relevant, that's his plan. And then I guess now he's kind of changing his tune. He's thinking, Twisted Sister might do one more, but they're way bigger in Europe.
Why is he so self-deluded in thinking that Twisted Sister?
Well, the thing is
shit. Rat was bigger than Twisted Sister.
They weren't big.
Right. Well,
they were an opening band in America.
Yeah. Well, what it is
Dokken, I think, would be bigger than Twisted Sister.
He sold his catalog.
Yeah.
And he made a buku amount of money over it. And basically what it is, we're not going to take it as being used in commercials.
Album. Yeah, he took one album with maybe 3 songs on it. And
he's living off that. He's living off all the revenue from the commercials.
Which is fine.
That's a great song to put in car commercials and beer commercials.
I want to hear one of these guys come back and just tell him to fuck off.
Right. Well, he's thinking
because he's got no room to be criticizing Bon Jovi because he's too smiley and he's not right.
I know, but
he had 2 big songs.
Yes, I know.
And he's making a ton of money off it, which is smart, good for him. He's putting car commercials, food commercials, whatever, and he's getting paid there. But
female, feminine products.
Huh?
Yeah.
You hear about that?
No.
We're not going to take it. Is used.
How are you going to put? We're not going to take it in a female hygiene product.
I don't know.
All right.
You kind of think it through, but it ended up. And he's all excited. He was all
you don't
like,
hear these other guys from Twisted Sister out there.
Oh no,
no.
I know. JJ's got a podcast and stuff like. I heard some. I listened to some of that, but he's just kind of like
tired of him lipping off. I really do. Like it's starting to bother me.
Like it says, he sold his catalog, made a buku amount of money. He still gets a percentage of all the stuff that gets played. He gets like 15% or something in that range. But so his head grew bigger and bigger.
See, the thing is, like Mike was alluding to, the guy didn't do anything. There's a lot of guys that annoy the shit out of us. Gene Simmons, Steven Tyler, Ted Nugent say shit that just boggles the mind. But those guys got a track record. Those guys are millionaires. Those guys busted their ass. They've got way more credence than D. Snyder's got.
Yeah.
I would listen to them blow smoke than D. Snyder telling me.
Donnie Iris coming out and ripping on everybody.
Oh, I like Donnie Iris.
Yeah.
Do you compute?
He had the one big hit. It was a big hit, but I mean, he's not, but you don't see him out there splatting his mouth off.
No.
That these other guys suck. Or they weren't rock and roll enough. I don't know. It bothers me.
All right, we got kind of side. Now, Kurt, you're the last guy here. Finally, you dropped your notes. It wasn't just me now.
Def Leppard, same thing.
Okay.
Bon Jovi was good for a while, like you say, first couple 3 albums. When they did New Jersey, and you could kind of start telling that things became a pattern. And no, it's the same thing. But Def Leppard, they still. What's cool about Def Leppard is, like I say, is they're always being creative in a way. Like today, the slang that came out during the grunge era, you know, something that's, hey, let's do something to kind of see what happens here.
Well, you could say that with the Bon Jovi failed experiment with country, but at least Def Leppard kind of kept it. They weren't going so far out there.
Right.
They were just trying to just expand.
Yes.
Because they may have gotten even bored with their own sound. They said, let's just push it a little bit farther. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that might have been Vivian's
first album.
Yes, it
was his first album.
Yeah.
Slang was his first album.
So that'd have been his first record.
Yes.
So
I think he toured.
Right, he toured up until then, but he probably wanted to put his stamp on it at some point. Go, okay, you know what? This is what I can do.
And it was a changing time too.
Yeah, I can't hate him for that.
No.
And I think, I mean, I haven't seen Def Leppard in a while, but I think they still throw some of the old stuff in. They do a good mix and concert.
Oh yeah, I did see something on there where they do Wasted.
Yeah.
I saw that.
They still try to keep it mixed up enough to where they're not just catering to the lighter side of their stuff.
Well, they did for the longest
tour with the same group of songs, but
yeah, they did it for the longest time. They wouldn't do that because half the band wasn't in the band at that time.
I kind of don't
dead.
get the
Rick
journey.
Wills is dead, or not? Yeah, Rick is dead. Steve is dead. I mean, a lot of those guys weren't there around there for.
I kind of don't get the Journey package with them. I get it sells. I guess
that's weird.
It's kind of a weird matchup. I think.
Yeah, that's a weird matchup.
Twice now they're doing it. We got to move on to the last one, right? Because I want to get the last one in.
Okay.
Do we?
Yeah.
And that's
okay.
That's,
you're excited about this one, eh?
Well, I just want to see.
That's the Van Halen.
Okay.
I want to see what you guys
none of us have been surprising here. We've been kind of falling in line here. Okay, we want you want to start us off there?
Wait, I'm going back to the Eagles, so just the.
so you're going back to the Eagles? Okay.
No, I'll say.
All right.
I'm thinking of Fleetwood Mac.
No, it's Fleetwood Mac with the extra point.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fleetwood Mac won on the shootout.
Yes.
Who took that shot?
Oh God.
All right, anyway, go ahead. What's the last one of the day?
Who took the shot? They brought Danny Kerwin back, and
nobody cares. Nobody cares.
No, with Fleetwood Mac.
Danny Kerwin was
the last. Okay, the last one we're going to is
Billy Burnett.
Billy, yes,
Becky Bramlett. All right, go ahead.
Bramlett, Ricky Vito.
Oh, I remember we saw that tour.
Yes,
with Pat Benatar. Anyway, go ahead. Last one,
which is the Van Halen, Dave or Sammy.
All right. Well, who are you picking?
Oh, geez, like I got it. I mean, it's,
oh my God!
Was this another shootout one?
No.
You're not taking another tie.
The Dave era, but I was going to say, which I think we talked about this back once before.
Yeah, a couple ago. Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Dave era is what
Dave era is the foundation for what came after.
Yes. But I mean, I like to say, but I do like the Sammy era because they did create a whole new, not really a whole new style, but
they kind of did.
They went.
I think you kind of almost look at it as a different band.
It is, it is. It's a different band.
They probably should have called it Van Hagar.
Yeah,
I wish they would have. That would have been so brilliant.
I think that would have been.
That would have been a marketing genius.
Because I'm the same boat, man. I grew up with the Dave era.
Yep.
And I love Sammy Hagar. I love Sammy's solo stuff.
That's kind of.
I don't dislike Sammy at all. I think his voice was great on all those albums.
Yep.
But to me, Van Halen is the David Lee Roth era. Sammy's a whole different era for them. Different sound, a lot more keyboards, very melodic, more melodic, I should say.
Yes.
Where the old Van Halen until 1984, I started getting away. The Jump was melodic, but there's some hard stuff on 1984 too.
Oh yeah.
But the stuff prior to that was gritty. You didn't sound overdubbed.
No.
Where Sammy, it was more clean, more melodic. I'm not saying it was bad, but I'm definitely with the old Van Halen.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm with Mike on this. Sammy was a much better solo artist. I mean, 3-Lock Box, Standing Hampton. Those, now talking about front to back, those were good albums right there. And for him to actually move into Van Halen, it was like Mike pretty much summed it up for me. So yeah, he brought a whole different vibe, made it more melodic, made it a little less punch in your face type, but more. It was still rock and
He does
roll.
have a better voice than
Yeah, it was
Oh,
it's still
no
it was
doubt about it.
it had allowed him to do things like when Love Walks In and stuff like that. Where Dave, can you imagine Dave doing When Love Walks In
No.
or Right Now?
And I think it's
Right
why,
now,
I think
yeah,
that's why
it
Eddie
just-
liked it.
right.
You know, when they were together.
Oh,
yeah.
That blew up too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It forced Eddie to do some different stuff.
Well, yeah, because Eddie always used to say, with Sam in the band, when I was with Dave in the band, I always had the down tune and had to try matching his voice and stuff. But with Sammy, he said it was a lot easier working and recording with him.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with Mike on that. It's got to be Dave.
Oh yeah,
Dave was a foundation to build everything else off of.
Yep.
And that's basically how we came to that to begin with. Van Halen pretty much invented everything else, and it got to the point where he wasn't really inventing stuff anymore. He wasn't pushing his sound that much. He was making his own amps and making his own guitars, but he wasn't.
Eddie got lazy.
Yes. I didn't want to say that,
Eddie
but that's
got
kind of what
lazy.
it came to. It's like,
No,
okay, you put on like
that's the
balance.
knock on him is there's
You
not
do
a
like-
lot of work
No.
for as revered as he is.
Yeah.
And and groundbreaking.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of work from him. Now there's supposedly a ton of stuff,
That they've
parts and bits
that
and
they've
stuff,
unearthed.
tapes that he's got in the vault.
Well, wasn't that supposed to be the part of that last album? They got them all together?
Heard? David Lee Roth won't let that get re-released, the last album. He
Well,
hates it.
The one with the
train on the cover?
train on the
The train,
cover?
Yeah. You can't, I guess it's not on iTunes.
Why?
He won't- So they're saying David Lee
wasn't that
Roth's got
bad.
more
Stay
control
Frosty
in
was
Van
pretty
Halen
good.
than people know.
Oh really?
Because he has the power to not let that get re-released.
Ah.
I heard Wolf on the radio. He said if you want that album, you got to go physically buy it if you can find it,
Okay.
because he won't let it. He will not let it go on iTunes or any of the streaming platforms, and there's no plans on reissue.
Okay.
So
But you
whatever's
said
out-
he let a live performance from Japan that he
Yeah, I
sang
got that
on.
album. There's
Yeah,
no
he-
overdubs.
But he lets that one out there,
he
which
lets that
is
out.
horrible.
The guy's weird, man.
But the one, and I think somebody led it to me and stuff, and I listened to it. I thought it was good. I mean, it
The
was
last album?
kind of
The one they did?
with the train on it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
all
Yeah, it's-
supposedly all
yeah.
stuff from the
They
past. They reworked.
Stay
but-
Frosty, and
Yeah,
what
I
was
thought
the
it
one
was a good
about
album. I
the
guess you hate. I don't like
tattoo
I didn't
one?
like Tattoo.
Well, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Was the weakest.
But I'm just
that was
saying,
the first single. And it was
But
the
those were
weakest song.
supposedly all cobbled together like Tattoo You. It's kind of like all these old
Yeah.
songs that the Stones had.
They didn't
But in
really
this
write
case,
anything for
Van
that
Halen
album.
had, and they just put together. So okay, well let's just add some stuff on there.
But I didn't think it was a bad album. I mean, I thought
No,
there
I
was
didn't think
some
so
good stuff
either.
on
It's
but
listenable.
Apparently, he hates it, and he's not letting it get re-released.
But then
Okay.
again, he let that piece of
Weird-
shit
he's a
go
weird
from
dude.
Japan go.
Yeah, that is totally a live album. I don't think they overdubbed anything.
seen Dave now?
He's the producer of it.
Dave's got like sleeves now.
Oh yeah, he's
A
got a
tattoo.
full body tattoo.
Really?
His whole body's a
Yeah,
tattoo.
he waited till like he's 65
sells-
years old to
He
get like.
started a cream company for tattoos.
Oh really?
He's got his own line of tattoo creams and
Yeah,
stuff.
the dude's he waited all this time, and he's
No,
like
he's a
60 years
weird
old,
dude, man.
got himself all tatted up.
And then
Wow.
I guess he keeps
It's like at this
posting
point, like, why?
reworked. He keeps posting reworked versions of Van Halen songs on his Instagram
Really?
that he's re-recorded.
He's a lost
He's done
soul.
like this every couple of weeks. He releases another one
Really?
of Jump and all that. Yeah,
Okay.
he's a weird dude.
All right.
So
I think if we pretty much covered this,
so.
have you
Yeah.
said everything you wanted to say there?
no, I'm
How
pretty
about
much.
you?
I'm,
You wanted to
I'm
jump
done.
in with anything?
I don't know. I'm still contemplating. No, I'm fine.
You're you're sticking with Fleetwood Mac. No.
He's not gonna say
No, no.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I say,
The papers have been filed with the league office and stuff.
It's all been.
Fleetwood
It's all,
Mac.
the
You
papers
can't
have-
change your mind now. That's
He's
it.
having a change.
You can't have
I
a
think-
change of heart.
I think I'll go into the portal and so
Yeah.
I can. So I can
Go into the portal.
so I can-
Oh, sweet Jesus.
all right. Yeah. So let's.
All right, well,
we'll
sing
wrap
us
this one
out
up.
there, Kurt.
No, don't sing.
Put a wrap on this
Okay.
thing.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be throwing some new ones out there coming up shortly. This podcast was recorded and engineered at Fredison Studio, produced through Zonal Productions. No, you'll be able, if you want to contact us, the email, it's themusicexamination@gmail.com.
Perfect.
We got an email now?
Yes.
Oh
we got an
yeah,
email.
we're
Yes.
new and improved, buddy. We
we-
got everything
So
here.
we had, if you still want to contact us through a couple beers and a conversation @gmail.com, you can do that too. Because, it's best to use the music examination @gmail.com.
Right.
So, and
Because I got pictures of Kurt and a Speedo on that one. So if you go to that one, you get those
No,
photos.
Goodbye.
I'm like, goodbye. I'm done.
Faded.
You can't leave now. Who's gonna water the plant?